My mom's struggles specifically with small cell lung cancer really began with the loss of her independence. She used to clean the cat box, cook every day, sweep the floors every day. She used to vacuum at least once a week. She would clean the bathrooms at least once every other week. She would do laundry every day. She would Windex and dust the coffee tables in the living room at least once a week. When she was diagnosed, she was still able to do all of that. When the chemo started really getting to her, she slowed down on doing it. When there was a lump in her spine that ended up being a lump of calcium, which slipped a disc and pinched a nerve and started making her legs tingle like they were asleep all the time, she couldn't do it. She hated asking for help. She was very independent, and when she started doing so badly, she asked me for help. I remember sitting on the floor looking up at her as she sat in the recliner, holding my hands, telling me, "I hate asking you to do this for me, but could you do the dishes and do the laundry?" She was just so distraught over having to ask me to do something that simple. She started crying to me and just... it was like her whole world had tumbled around her. It was the strangest thing. I mean, I had seen her cry for as long as I'd known her. I'd seen her cry before. She was easy to cry. She was a woman, you know. She would watch a sad movie or a romantic movie and she'd start crying. Or she'd read one of my stories, which had a lot of sad stuff in it, and she'd cry over that. We'd be talking about, you know, how we didn't... or we'd be talking about how my dad treated me and how he had treated her and why they were divorced to begin with. And she'd cry about that sometimes because of how I felt. She could commiserate. She knew how I felt. But this was the first time that I saw her actually cry because she had to ask for help, and she hated it. When she went into hospice, she did not want to be turned on her sides, even though she knew she would get bed sores, which she did. She got one on her coccyx, her tailbone, which is a very easy place to get a bed sore if you don't turn. They basically said, "Okay, fine, do whatever you want." And she maintained that she cannot do the things that she wants to do in her last days to keep happy if she is to be turned on her sides. So she wanted to stay on her back. She wanted to watch TV, and she wanted to crochet, things of that nature, and read, and she did not want to lay on her side. Another of her struggles was how the chemo basically killed her taste buds. I mean, everything she ate was tasteless. She didn't like it. It was disgusting. She just... and my stepdad and I, well, mostly just him, but we had brought her snacks that she knew she'd like. Popcorn, soup, some chips, things like that, and just their food, the hospice. The food we brought her, everything, just didn't taste right. She didn't like it. She'd still eat, because she had to eat. She just... it was gross. I know from laying in bed and just watching TV all the time, she got kind of sick of watching some shows, like on LMN. She got really sick of all the movies that had the same plots. It was always about some abused woman running away, and some kid dying and being abducted and teenagers being raped and having to struggle through it, you know, just the same thing over and over. She found it very depressing after a while. Sometimes she and I would watch HGTV together and DIY network kind of shows. Kind of daydream, you know, what we always had wanted to do. You know, she had always wanted to buy a house for us when I was a kid. She wanted to get us out of that trailer and everything, but it was what she could afford. When she started taking chemo and radiation, she was a lot more tired and a lot sicker than usual because of the chemo, and rightfully so. But because of how sick she got, by the time she got her 6 months checkup, when she found out that she had the calcium and the slipped disc and all that, she refused to get more chemo because it was just tearing her up and she didn't like it. She's like, I can't do it again. I can't. She was weak and tired almost all the time before she was put in hospice. My mom used to dye her hair a certain color. It was like a strawberry blonde color. And when she took chemo, it all fell out. And when it started to grow back in, it was like a fine peach fuzz, but it was a light brown. And I remember the little, I don't remember what they call it. I think it was called a lovey. It was something like that. It was a little, like a little turban. She had a white one with a cancer ribbon and a light blue one. And then she actually got a wig. I still have it. And it was about the color that she liked, and it was a short hair style, like she always liked. And I remember it started falling out, so my stepdad just helped her by just shoving it all off. Her hair was pretty thin, pretty much all her life anyway, so she didn't feel too bad about just giving in because she had gotten used to thin hair anyway. So, seeing as my mom was only 53 when she died, I'd say that was struggle enough.